Good morning. I'm just down here relaxing at the cemetery with the dog, making a YouTube video on a Saturday, as you do, and thinking about Saturdays, I guess, and how weird it is that, tell me if this sounds familiar, typically Monday through Friday I wake up in the morning and I sit down at my desk and I do tasks for much of the day. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, I mostly don't do that. And I think that's actually really strange for a couple of reasons. So the first reason being, if we look at the entire history and prehistory of humans on Earth, that's mostly not how we've done it, right? Because most of our past was spent as hunter-gatherers, and in that kind of mode, from what I understand, you kind of work every day, more or less. You once in a while maybe take a break, once in a while maybe you're sick, but you pretty much, you get up and you get food daily. There's no like weekend, there's no sense of that really. And then I guess as we transition to agriculture, again, only after like, what, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years, that becomes more work. And you're still working every day, right? Like you can't just let the field go and hope to come back to it. You gotta weed, you gotta mend your tools, you gotta sow, whatever, all that stuff, right? And then I guess some religions kind of came about that placed a taboo on working on the Sabbath, and so now we're down to like 6 days a week, I guess technically for some people. But still, mostly it's like you wake up and you do work so that you can eat and have a place to live that's, keeps you warm or whatever, all the time, right? Like on a daily basis. And so then Industrial Revolution brought about factory work and work in mines, which I believe was mostly just work every day until some labor organizing managed to fight for this notion of like the 40-hour work week and the weekend. We kind of invented that. That's a recent invention, right? Like that isn't like the way that the earth was forged or anything. It's familiar because it's what we're all born into, but it's not like it really represents most of how humans have worked throughout history. So like objectively, it's a little bit weird, just unusual to be on that kind of a schedule, historically speaking. And the other reason it's weird is because I work for myself. And so I don't have a boss telling me you have to be here Monday through Friday, or you have to put in 40 hours, or you have the weekends off, or whatever. That's totally up to me. And yet, here I am on a Saturday, chilling in the cemetery. I wasn't out here chilling on Thursday. Why, right? And so I think it's a couple things, like mostly habit. I think it's just something I've fallen into, but there are reasons behind it, because this is the schedule that most of my clients are on, right? I can't, like, if I need to meet with them, I can't set that up for a Sunday. They're not going to want to do that because that's their day off, right? And likewise, depending on the engagement, depending on what we're doing together, during the week, there's some unspoken, and I hate that it's unspoken, but there's some unspoken expectation that people are reachable during the work week. And so that's part of why I just sort of conform to their schedule. Also, it's my wife's schedule. She has, like a real job. So she has weekends off. So me spending time with her on the weekends, it just kind of fits that schedule. So I guess those are the reasons I do it, but I'm gonna say, I don't think that that's reason enough to stick with this schedule. I don't think that it's necessarily ideal just because it's kind of common and accepted and conforms to how some other people are working. I don't think so at all. And so I'm gonna play with this a little bit, and I'm gonna go back home and I'm gonna sit down at my desk and do some tasks on a Saturday and kind of see how it feels. When I think about it, I think I'm operating from this frame that says work is a thing you do because you have to do, and you have to show up when they tell you to show up because they're paying you. That's the deal. And that's not my deal. And so I don't think that frame is necessarily helpful for me to think about what it is I'm doing. I don't know which one would be better, but that's something I can experiment with. And I guess my strong sense is that there is something better I can land on, that like this default mode doesn't necessarily serve me. And so, yeah, I'm gonna try doing some tasks on Saturday. Thanksgiving's next week. I'm gonna try to do some tasks over Thanksgiving weekend. And I think the thing to pay attention to is kind of like how the tasks feel. Like, do these tasks feel like work? Am I doing this stuff only because I'm in my head tying it to a paycheck somehow? And then like how much of my tasks feel like that, and is that really how I want to be? Because when I think about the stuff I do that's quote unquote work, a whole lot of it is just stuff that I'm interested in. If I can even grow that proportion, then that's something to focus on. And then I wonder if I could kind of have the hunter-gatherer schedule where it's just like wake up every day and go do some stuff so that you get to eat, versus being on this industrial revolution, post-labor movement, arbitrary 40-hour work week. I suspect that could be it. I also wonder if the agricultural metaphor is better, because in a similar sense to where you're planting and you're maintaining and then you eventually reap and eventually you go to market, that probably matches the way I make money. So I could probably play with these types of modes and other modes, but for today I'm just going to go home and do some tasks. I'm going to go home and work on this Discord bot habit tracker that I've been coding up. That's fun and I look forward to it. So like, why would I wait until Monday to work on that, right? Makes no sense. So I hope you're having a lovely weekend if you happen to be watching this. And if you're future me, I hope you've sorted out when you work and why you work that schedule. And I hope it's something that came out of your own experience and values versus just something that got handed down to you from past generations. All right. Say bye. He doesn't talk.